Thank you so much, Jeff. I'm going to show you guys kind of what the platform looks like and how you guys can incorporate it. I've actually ingested ProveIt's own demo onto our platform. And this is what it looks like. So this is that front end that Jeff was just talking about. This is IDMP. As you can see, there's an elements tree on the left. So that elements tree has two different data sources, just showing you that you can plug in multiple data sources at the same time. I've got a couple different parts of it, right? So for Enterprise B, there were a couple sites, and then within those sites, there was liquid processing, there was packaging, there was filler production. All of those things live right over there. So on our platform, you can clean up everything you want to do on the back end as well as the front end. So everything is fully customizable to whatever you guys want to do. So in the general section, which you're going to see right over here, I'll be able to see the path of the element as well as the template that it lives on, right? So there you see the path. You can see that the tank is under max tank storage 1, and then it's under liquid processing. You'll be able to see that information right there. I can favorite an element. So we've worked a lot on navigation, so because a lot of the time these legacy systems are really hard to get around with. On our platform, you can favorite any element you want to do. You can also search and favorite the search as well. So it's very easy to get around. You might be wondering, what are related documents? That's the first thing I think of when I look at the general section. Related documents are a way for you guys to provide context on individual elements. So for instance, if this tank has had maintenance or there's been an issue with the tank for, I want to say, like the past 2 months, I can throw that into there, and now my agent has context on that, right? So it knows that this tank's gone through maintenance. Or if I want to throw in like a maintenance manual, maybe someone has a question about this specific element and wants to know how to maintain it, you can throw that in there as well. Of course, you could also provide context by adding annotations. We also support that as well. Now, where does the data live? The data lives in the attributes section. So when I go to attributes right over here, you'll see we've got a couple time series data coming in. There's two types of attributes you guys need to remember. One is going to be metrics. Metrics are time-stamped, as you can see right over there. And then you have tags. So the tank number is never going to change. So those are static metrics that never change, and we call those tags. Of course, you can add your own metric to this. So I can add a new attribute. I can configure limits. I even have a data reference type on there, so I can configure a formula, string builder, all sorts of things that you guys are probably already used to. As well as, Jeff briefly spoke about this, but you're able to upload machine learning models onto the platform, and you can configure that to forecast each of your attributes. It's a really powerful way for you guys to get insights into the platform. And then you can also add additional properties to it. So we're end-to-end. We want to make this as easy as possible. Of course, like you're probably wondering, if I make an attribute, do I have to add it to every single tank, right? Because that sounds like, it sounds pretty annoying to add one attribute to one tank and then look through the entire thing. Everything in the platform is templatized, and I'm going to go over that very briefly at the end, but just letting you know, if you do something once, you don't have to do it over and over again. Okay, I'm going to go into the panels section, and I'm going to switch to tank 2 over here. But as Jeff mentioned, we support zero query intelligence, and that's what you're seeing right over here. We essentially are throwing templates up for you guys to kind of pick what panels you want to generate. So right here on the top, you'll see a couple panels, and I can generate them based on the context that my data is giving me. So I can like panels to want to generate one type, and I can dislike to want to generate another type. Now when I'm ready, I can go ahead and click and generate a panel, right? So go ahead and click and generate a panel. It takes a couple seconds, and there you go. I never touched anything. I literally just clicked on the panel, and it's fully generated. And I can do that if I'm not used to the data, right? So I can go back. That panel's already generated. I can like a panel. I can go ahead and hit save. That panel will pop up down here. Now, going into a panel, when I actually go into a panel, AI lives there too, right? So I can get insights on every panel on the platform. And there you go. So when you're presenting a panel, there's already insights for you guys. There's root cause analysis, business impact. This can live on the panel, and you guys will see that as you continue with the platform. Now, you might be asking, can I make panels another way? And yeah, you can. So the other way to make panels, you can prompt them, right? So if you're a data expert and you know everything related to your data, why don't you just type out the panels you want to do? So that's the other way you can make panels. Of course, you can make panels manually as well. We support 2 different types of panels. one being the standard panels, so the chart types that you guys are used to, and the other being a canvas panel. So I'm going to go into canvas very briefly. Canvas is those PNID charts that people love to kind of throw up, and we support those as well, right? So you can throw in multiple of these PNID images and symbols, and you can even animate them. So I'm not going to make anything super complex here, but essentially we support the end-to-end features that you guys would want to use for panels. Now, if you take a group of panels, you can aggregate them together and create a dashboard. I have 2 pre-made already. So here's the enterprise level dashboard that we've created to monitor everything end-to-end. So you can make a panel out of pretty much everything, right? So I have some for the sites, some for just raw metrics, and then I can also templatize the dashboards. And I'm able to customize the time range. I'm going to zoom out a little so you guys can see a little better, but I can get the last 5 minutes of data, I can do the last hour of data. Whatever I want to do, I can pick over here and do. And because it's templatized, I can scroll through all of the different element templates. So you'll be able to see them, and you can even see the path. So if you want to go back and check that element, you could do that as well. Now, another really powerful thing that we have are called analyses. This is analyzing a period of data over time. And right here, I've got a couple set up already, but essentially the same as the panels, right? So they generate some with suggestions, and then you can generate some by prompting them. Here I've got 2 already set up, but I'm going to go into one so you guys know what the template of that looks like. So essentially this is what it looks like. And create your analysis based on your trigger type. I'll give you an example of one. There might be an event that you guys want to generate. All of these things you should be used to. Sliding window, state window, event window. But we have our own anomaly detection system as well, so you guys can go ahead and try that out. But going into let's try a event window. Here you'll see we have an expressioning system. This lives across the platform, so you'll be able to access this whenever you want. I can add whatever metrics I want to add. And here, I'm going to show you an example using temperature, right? So going back here. So we have one monitoring temperature and one monitoring flow rate. So when the flow rate drops to 0, I want an event to kind of fire off. And when the tank temperature gets to a maximum point, I also want an event to fire off. And here you can see this is what it looks like when the events are fired off. You'll see the start time and the end time. I can acknowledge an event. So I can click on this to acknowledge an event. I can even create a panel out of this. So this whole thing can be a panel that you guys can throw up on a dashboard and see this coming in and out. When you're ready, you can throw up a couple events and click trend chart analysis. And when you do that, you'll be able to see the trends of when these events have happened, right? So these are when multiple events have fired off. I can even save this part as a panel and show it off whatever I want. I can enable multiple swim lanes if I have multiple attributes that I want to analyze. So I can throw up a bunch of events, and maybe I think the temperature has an effect on the flow rate. Well, I can add the temperature to it as well, and you'll see the temperature at the same time of the events. Now you can collapse these together. I can enable align by start time, so when have all these events started. I can analyze it that way as well. And all of this can be paneled and saved as a panel. And you can have these events firing for multiple different devices by templatizing it. So that's how the event system kind of works with us. Okay, I'm going to go over one more thing before I get into our AI chat, which I think is one of our cooler features. The library section, I've been talking about templates this entire time. Let's go into one of the templates so you guys can see the extent of what we've templatized. So here you've got VATS, and VATS is one of the things on Enterprise B. Everything is templatized. That means that template itself, the attributes, the panels, the analyses, the dashboards, the notification template rule. Pretty much, if you make something once, you've made it 100 times on our platform because it can be reused over and over again. And that's what we provide. Okay, now I'm going to hop into our AI chat because you might be wondering what exactly it does. It's designed to give you hyper-specific context on your data and the ability for help on the platform. So right here, I've just asked it for a step-by-step guide on how to create a report on TDengine. Moving on, I wanted a report on Tank 1. It's really good at executive summaries. So if somebody wants to hop in the platform and doesn't really know what's going on, they hop in, ask a question, and it's got a couple things already set up for them. And this can be exported and sent to people as well. So it's a really easy way to get context on your data, as well as figure out how to use the actual platform. And that's all without actually getting into the platform. Once you have your data ingested, this already works right out of the box. Now, you might be wondering, how do I set up an AI connection? Well, setting up an AI connection is really easy. So you go right here to Admin Console, you go to Connections, and there should already be a type called AI that's available. We connect to every large language model on the planet. And what I mean by that is whatever service provider you want to use. So OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, Meta, whoever you want to use, we connect to. You just need an endpoint and an API key. Now, there's a couple customers we have that said, hey, maybe we don't want to give Sam Altman all our data. That's totally fine. You do not have to use an LLM on a cloud service provider. You can go ahead and use your own, right? So you can download an LLM, put it on the edge with the instance, and as long as it's got an endpoint and an API key, you're good to go, right? So the platform is totally up to you. Everything can be customized to your needs. Now, we also have a user management system where you can have multiple users as well as roles. And we don't charge extra for extra users, so this is totally up to you guys. And with the roles, you can get hyper-specific on what you want people to see. Now, one last thing that I wanted to kind of go into is our data link feature. So we have a very similar feature to Pi's data link. I'm not going to go into everything with the nitty-gritty of it all, but our EAI is equivalent to Pi's data link. It does pretty much everything that Pi does, and it even goes a little deeper because it can throw in some AI generation as well. So that's kind of that part. And the last thing I want to go over is how this all kind of ties together. So we want it to be an end-to-end system. The barrier to entry for our system is really, really low. So it's really low, and your ability to do things on the platform, your ability to customize different things are simple. And that's kind of the overall goal.